Welcome to week 1. We're going to continue week 1 with ATI Management, Chapter 1, Managing Client Care. This chapter also goes over also talks about the subjects of leadership and management, but then we talk about a few other things such as time management, also, what is assigning, delegating, supervising. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And leadership and management. Management, of course, is a process of planning, organizing, directing, and coordinating work within an organization, where leadership is the ability to inspire others to achieve a desired outcome. Effective managers usually possess good leadership skills. And remember, one cannot be a leader without followers. The leadership styles in Chapter 103, we talked about the different leadership styles. We have the authoritative, which makes decisions for the group. The democratic includes the group when decisions are made. The laissez-faire makes very few decisions. They have little planning. Transformational empower followers to assume responsibility, and transactional focuses on immediate problems, maintains status quo, and uses rewards to motivate followers. The transformational and transactional was also discussed in Chapter 3 of Ethics, the Ethics class. So what is the characteristics of a leader versus a manager? A leader, they have informal power that's afforded to them by their peers. Managers hold formal positions of authority and power. Leaders have problem-solving and critical thinking skills. Managers should most importantly possess clinical expertise. Leaders, inspiration, energy, positive attitude. They have communication skills. They influence willing followers to move towards a goal. And leaders, their goals might not reflect those of the organization. Whereas managers network with members of the team, they coach subordinates, and make decisions regarding function of the organization, including resources, budget, hiring, and firing. 5 major management functions. Planning. What needs to be done, how it will be done, and who is going to do it. Organizing. Determines lines of authority, channels of communication, where decisions are made. Staffing. Acquisition and management of adequate staff and staffing mix. Directing. Influences and motivates staff to perform assigned roles. And controlling. Evaluation of staff performance and unit goals, ensuring outcomes are being met. Those are your 5 major management functions: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. Time management. Time management is very, very important in nursing. You continuously set and reset your priorities. Your priority setting requires decisions to be made regarding the order clients are to be seen, assessments completed, and interventions provided. Time management is very, very important. It is very pertinent to be able to get everything done that you want to get done within one shift. You make decisions based on evidence obtained. You organize your care according to client care needs and priorities. Use time-saving strategies and avoid time wasters. Time management is a cyclic process. Time management and teamwork, and time management and self-care. Because if you don't take care of yourself, who else is going to take care of you? So some time management strategies, some time savers, time wasters. Time savers is documenting in the moment, delegating, complete one task at a time, gather all your supplies at once. Don't make repeated trips to the supply room. Take time to plan your care. Avoid interruptions. Graciously but assertively say no. Use breaks to socialize with staff. Time wasters are documenting at the end of the shift, because what happens if you lose your little piece of paper that was your brain, that you wrote everything down on that went on throughout the shift, and then all of a sudden at the end of the shift you go to document and you can't find your brain. Not a fun time. Not asking for help. Starting several tasks at once. Always remember, complete one task at a time. Make repeated trips to the supply room. Make sure you have everything you need before you go into that room. However, do not take a lot of stock in that room, because in knowing you're not going to use it, because if a patient gets discharged or their condition changes and they get transferred, everything in that room has to be thrown away. Supply-wise, failing to plan or managing by crisis. Agreeing to help others when time is already compromised. If you don't have enough time to help, you can graciously tell them no. And socializing with staff during client care time. Use your breaks for that. Do not use client care time to socialize. Assigning, delegating, and supervising. Assigning is the process of transferring the authority, accountability, and responsibility of client care to another member of the healthcare team. Delegating is the process of transferring the authority and responsibility to another team member to complete a task while retaining the accountability. And supervising is the process of directing, monitoring, and evaluating the performance of tasks by another member of the healthcare team. 5 rights of delegation: right task, right circumstance, right person, right direction and communication, and right supervision and evaluation. Staff education. Characteristics that involves methods appropriate to learning domain and the learning styles of staff. Staff education can be initiated for specific situations, such as new policies or procedures are implemented. Say you have new equipment that's becoming available and everybody has to be trained on it. Or, educational need may be identified by a staff member. You may, identify that a certain staff member needs additional education on, say, a policy or a procedure. Staff education can focus on one-on-one approach and higher education degree or certification. Those are all parts of staff education. There are 5 stages of nursing ability. You have your novice nurse, which is students or newly licensed nurse. You have your advanced beginner, which is you practice independently and you can make some clinical judgments. You have your competent nurse, who has been in practice 2 to 3 years. You have your proficient nurse, which is they have a significant amount of experience, well-developed critical thinking and decision-making skills. And then you have your expert nurse, which has a wealth of information and views situations holistically and processes information efficiently. Categories of conflict. You have your intrapersonal conflict. It occurs within the person and involves internal struggle related to contradictory values or wants. You have your interpersonal conflict, where that occurs between 2 or more people with differing values, goals, or beliefs. Then you have your intergroup conflict, which occurs between 2 or more groups of individuals, departments, or organizations. It can be caused by a new policy or procedure, can also be caused by a change in leadership or a change in organizational structure. Stages of conflict: you have stage 1, latent conflict. Conflict has not yet developed, however, the factors are present. Stage 2 is perceived conflict. A party perceives a problem is present. Actual conflict might not actually exist at this point. Stage 3, you felt the conflict. That means those involved begin to feel an emotional response to the conflict. Stage 4 is manifest conflict. Parties involved are aware of the conflict. Action taken. It can be positive or negative action. And stage 5 is the conflict aftermath or completion of the conflict. Common causes of conflict can be scheduling, client assignment, where one staff member thinks that another staff member always gets all the easy patients and they always get all the hard patients. Another cause could be balance between work and home. Another one of the common causes is staff members who do not work as team members. And a major cause of conflict can be whose responsibility is it to complete certain tasks. Always remember, we as nurses are able to take our clients to the restroom. We are able to give our clients baths. We are able to empty trash cans. We are able to do a lot of things. We do not have to depend solely on our CNAs to give the clients a bath, take them to the restroom, provide them with water, or whatever other needs they may have that a CNA can accomplish. However, it is our responsibility to make sure that our client receives everything, that they need and that we make them comfortable. Our clients deserve that. The one thing, the biggest pet peeve of mine was always seeing a nurse chase a CNA down to tell a CNA the patient needed to go to the restroom. Well, by the time they got done chasing the CNA down, they could have had the patient to the restroom and back to bed. So remember, work as a team. Disciplinary actions. Disciplinary action. First infraction is an informal reprimand. Manager and employee meet, they discuss the issue, and they get together and they have suggestions for improvement or correction. Second infraction, the employee receives a written warning. The manager meets with the employee to provide them or distribute the written warning to them. You review specific rules or policy violations, and you may have a discussion of potential consequences if the infractions continue. Third infraction, the employee is placed on suspension with or without pay. They are given time away from work, gives the employee an opportunity to examine the issues and consider the alternatives. The fourth infraction, the employee is terminated, and that follows after they have been given multiple warnings and the employee continues to violate the rules and policies.